everyone. Welcome to the 7th episode of Two Dads Talk Games.
6 or 7?
I don't know. I think it's 7. It doesn't
Still in the
matter.
single digits.
Yeah, we're still in the single digits.
Guarantee you we didn't make it to 10 yet.
No, I don't. No, I'm pretty sure it's 7. I'm Michael.
I'm Ryan.
And we're going to skip the segment thing with the letters, although I do want to bring up Doom, because I know I've talked about it before, but I really, really like the game, and I think you should try it. Although your 770 might not be able to cut it.
Ouch. Trying to incite some video card envy here. My 770 is doing just fine.
Your 770 runs things. You yourself, you were just playing Rust when I got here, and you had to have it at lowest settings, and even
that probably has more to do with my CPU, I bet. Actually.
Even watching that was painful. That hurt me just a little bit.
The graphics are pretty low.
What's your CPU?
I don't know. Something old.
Oh.
An AMD.
You could get one of the new i3s, actually. They're really overclockable. I know they're only dual core, but they have hyper-threading now, and you can get them to like 5 megahertz.
Yeah, mine's still in the 2.5, I think, range. So,
well, if it's
I
AMD,
think it's a quad core.
If it's AMD, yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit further behind. Although when Ryzen comes out pretty quick here, I'm pretty psyched about that.
Which game's that?
It's not a game. It's the new CPU line from AMD. That's set to rival Intel's current generations for less money.
I just need to hold out until then, and then I can say that I've still never bought an Intel CPU.
Yeah, I made the switch, and I'm glad I did. Although when Ryzen comes out, once I see some of the numbers, I may just sell the current rig and buy a whole new Ryzen rig, because it's going to be great.
Although, I got to make my last stretched out.
I should.
770. Maybe I'll pick up an 1160 when those come out.
Wow, that's going to be a while. Yeah. That's definitely going to be a while. I was talking to my wife, and I was telling you before about the promotion that I was aiming for. I didn't get it, but if I had got it, I was going to treat myself to a laptop, just because.
Get touchscreen.
Just because I would have been super awesome and deserved it, but I didn't get the position, so now I don't get to buy a laptop. So now I'm sad. That is literally the whole story. I did not get the promotion, and now I do not get a laptop.
See, when I bought my store, I bought myself a laptop.
But see, that's
right.
That's legit, because you need it for business.
Yeah, I use it for work a lot. Actually, I do a lot of our photoshopping on it. So
you have to Photoshop stuff.
Yeah, you have to Photoshop the product photos to put on the website that we take.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. But what do you actually have to do? Like add filters or like change angles or?
I like to keep them all consistent with each other. So all the companies have different standards for photos. I just basically take their stuff and then chop it up and put it into a standardized format for my website.
You actually edit your website, or do you guys have somebody who does that?
No, we both do that.
Oh, good on you. I've tried to make a couple websites, even with those free tools, like websites like Squarespace and Wix and stuff. Yeah, they suck. I've tried twice for my wife's business, and I didn't tell her about that, but she'll hear now that I've tried to do that. Anyway, so I tried to make a couple of them.
Maybe you should let her handle that.
Well, she is the artistic one, but yeah, I guess I should.
Yeah.
Although Etsy seems to be working out quite well. It's just Etsy taking the cut is kind of the
Is it a big cut? It's
percentages. So if your prices are low on your products, it's not bad. But if you have higher priced products, then the cut, like a $20, they take $20 purchase, they take $1.50. Plus you have a listing fee every time you put something up that is then refreshed every time you sell one. So they take some. They make money. Let's just say that.
That's not as egregious as Amazon. Oh my god.
Amazon takes a cut if you sell something on there?
Yeah, if you have an Amazon store, Amazon takes a huge cut.
I didn't know that. I've only ever bought stuff on Amazon. I've never even looked into selling. I sold a couple things on eBay, but that didn't work out very well.
Yeah, we only sell clearance stuff on Amazon. So it's just not worth it. Otherwise, they just take a huge cut.
Oh, so you only sell it on there just to literally get rid of it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotta get it out of the store. Oh, I guess we should talk about some games at some point here. Honestly, we've never even had this conversation before. I've never talked to you about how you sell stuff.
Yeah, I don't sell a lot on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
It's mostly in the store. Even the website's more like a tool for...
Oh, like browsing products?
People who just want to look at stuff when they're not in the store. So, anyways, back to gaming.
Anyways, some gaming related stuff. So we were talking
about
start
this over.
No, that's whatever. That's fine. We remember we said we were going to start one over back in the day, and we didn't start it over because that's the whole point. Is it's real. We talk about games mostly. This is the not mostly time. So something game related that we were just talking about a moment ago that I thought was very interesting, that is Overwatch related, that I'm now going to bring up on the podcast, is for anybody out there who does play Overwatch, and I know there's a few of you listening at least that do, obviously we've all noticed the huge ban waves that have been coming down from Blizzard, primarily on Koreans for cheating in Overwatch. And I was looking it up today, and I found out how that works, and it's apparently internet cafes in Korea pay a licensing fee to Blizzard for use of the game as opposed to buying a physical copy. So people can go on, create a dummy email account, create a Battle.net account, log on, hack, get banned, log off. Well, not log off because it logs you off obviously when you get banned. Create a dummy email and just keep redoing that over and over and over. So it's pretty much destroyed the Overwatch scene in Korea, and so many Korean players are so fed up with it that they're now downloading VPNs so that they can play on North American servers, even though they end up getting like 300-400 ping. They don't care because they'd rather play 300-400 ping with people who aren't cheating than with just a game that's half full of cheaters. Now, one more thing to add to that I was reading. So in the actual like competitive matchmaking, this thing has arisen. It's kind of like a manner draw. So if you get into a game and you get 12 people and one guy's hacking, it's kind of this like new unwritten rule in Korea that you just stop playing and you just draw the game so that nobody gets a loss because it's competitive mode. I don't know how that happens because I thought they got rid of the ability to have a draw in a competitive game.
No, it depends on the format. Some formats are easier to get draws in than others. In the payload maps, obviously, I don't think it'd be possible to recognize a cheater in time to not move the payload at all, because there's some maps which start on the payload and you just start moving it right away. And so unless you're meter tied, well,
you could just
actually no. What am I? No, that's not. Well, you'd run out of time, and then you'd run out of time.
Well, you could just
and
move
then
to
it would
the
go
first
to round
point.
2. No. It would. Yeah, no, you could do it actually, because it would be a draw, because it's just the second round where the draw part would be determined, and if both of you didn't move it at all, then it would be a draw. So yeah.
But like you said, you wouldn't necessarily be able to notice the cheater right away. Also, sometimes they play like really random classes that you wouldn't expect someone to cheat on to try and not get caught, like Junkrat, for example. There's no headshots with Junkrat, but it still is pretty much, you just hit more often is the point. It fires when you're locked on their head and it lobs the bomb at them, but if they move, well, it's moot. It's not going to headshot them, but it still lands you more hits in general when people aren't moving. Obviously, if you see a Widowmaker, okay, they're popping off headshots left, right, and center, rubber banding around, you're going to recognize that as a cheater. Or even a Mei, because the Icicle, it moves pretty quick. Apparently, the biggest offender, though, is McCree. So someone will come around a corner, and they will fan the hammer faster than a human can possibly react, and you're just dead. Now, I know that can happen in real life as well, but that's pretty rare. But, yeah, McCree is apparently the big offender. Well, obviously in Widowmaker.
Well, and McCree can headshot you. He's hit, scan, and headshot.
That's true.
And do an awful lot of damage.
That's true. I like McCree, but I suck with McCree.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate. I don't know. I never understood how there could be so many people, especially coming from Counter-Strike, which is one of the higher, I would say, more prevalent games for cheaters, especially in the competitive scene. There's the phrase "do it on LAN" became a big thing, and some guys just couldn't, and there was always sort of that question mark surrounding them. And yeah, I just saw lots of cheaters, but it just got the community so paranoid too, where it was almost a badge of honor to get booted for guys who are playing at the extremely high level. If they go pub, they would often just get banned.
Oh, that actually happened to me a couple of times back in my prime, which didn't last very long because then I gave up on Counter-Strike.
You had no prime.
Hey,
your prime is Optimus Prime, the Transformer toy.
My prime was good when you guys weren't playing with me. I was the best. No, I was the worst of the best. Not the best of the worst. I was the worst of the best. Out of
the best of the worst.
Out of all of us that played together, I was probably at the bottom. I won't deny that. But I had my moments, and I did get banned from a couple servers, legit, because they were like, "Oh, you're cheating."
Okay, were you or were you not at one time better than Paco?
I don't think I ever was.
No.
He was. I thought.
Then you're the best of the worst.
I thought he was good. He was really good with the op, but he always played custom maps. Like he never really played like
he didn't
real
play.
maps.
He didn't know how to play.
Well,
it's like saying he was really good at Widowmaker.
He could aim
in brawls.
He could aim.
In Overwatch.
You got to give him that. He could aim, but he didn't play the maps. He didn't strategize like that. That wasn't his play style.
He could aim a bit. He wasn't terrible.
He was better than most of the people who played at Stain. And some of those guys weren't half bad.
No, all those guys were half bad.
Yeah, you're up there on your high horse. You and Jettle.
I am.
You and Jettle. Just because you.
Pascal.
Oh,
was
yeah,
right.
Right.
He was a lot better than
I'm trying to remember his handle. I can't even remember now. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either way. I have to admit, like I said before we started this, I cheated once. Dun dun dun! Just to see what it was like, though. And it was boring, and I deleted it. Because I was like, this is just stupid. Why do people do this?
See, I cheated to know what it was like so I could better then recognize people actually cheating.
Well, I just wanted to see what the big hype was. It's like, oh my god, I'm cheating. And I'm like, this is so stupid. I'm just getting headshot. And then you get banned. And you're like, well, that's dumb. You just delete it. And, of course, you have to reinstall your Counter-Strike just in case. Because you don't want it to pick up some random file that you had left in there.
But I also only did it for, like, I don't know, a couple hours. A couple different games. And then I was like, all right, so that's what it looks like. Delete.
I did it for like 20 minutes. And then I was like...
And you got banned?
Yeah. Well, when you're popping up headshots on every single op shot, I mean, I wasn't trying to hide it. I just wanted to see, because I wanted to test it to the fullest. I wanted to see what's going on. But then I was like, okay, well, instead I won't run headshot aimbot. I'll just run wall hacks. But it's pretty hard not to kill a guy when you know he's coming.
Yep.
And it's pretty hard not to hit that headshot, too, because you just follow his head with your crosshair. Close enough, anyways. He comes down the corner and you pre-fire, like, a fraction of a second before he pops out, and he's dead. And then it just looks like you were aimbotting anyways. Yep. So it's, 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Anyways, so cheaters, I don't know, I would say Blizzard needs to do something like have a limited number of, like a ban, say a limited number of accounts that can be banned before their license gets revoked, change their EULA to something like that in Korea. Because, if they did that, then, the cafes would have no choice but to enforce it. You can go to a cafe that you can't play Overwatch at?
That's true. Overwatch is the second most played game in Korea right now, only bested by League of Legends still, which is surprising.
And if they make it globally, if they do that to everyone, like if they just update their EULA there, right?
I don't think it's that easy, though. I think that would take some time.
No, I think legally, all they would have to do is update their EULA, and I'm pretty sure, it might be more complicated because it's a business license, so it's not like a user license, but there would be an equivalent to it, I'm almost positive.
I think the best fix would be to force the cafes to buy a hard copy for each PC. And if it got banned, which would then force the cafe to monitor the people that were playing. But the problem with that is there's so many of these cafes, I think, that, like, you get caught banned. You get caught cheating at one, they actually ban you from the cafe. You don't care. You just go to the next one down the street.
Yeah, that's why they would have to be a global thing, right? It would be an easy change, right? It would basically be like the equivalent of a policy change.
That's true. Yeah, I guess they could figure, or at least attempt to figure something out. They have to try to figure something out. I think that
they're in the position of power because the cafes are making so much money off of Overwatch that they're going to lose a ton of business by not having Overwatch. So I think if they strike now... with a change like that, then people aren't going to be like, oh, well, screw that, I'm just not going to pay or not going to, like, renew my license for Overwatch. They're not going to lose that much money.
I feel like there is something mildly in place, but the problem is the cafes, like you were saying, make so much off Overwatch that they don't care to enforce the rules. Hey, you shouldn't cheat, because they're like, well, I don't want to lose this customer. Like, if this guy's going to sit here for 10 hours...
Yeah, that's why Blizzard needs to make a hard policy change like that. Just banning over and over again when they can create an infinite number of accounts won't work.
It's like 22,000. Like it's like 22,000 accounts get banned in one day. 21,000 new accounts are created on that same day.
Oh, convenient.
Yeah.
So that sucks. I haven't run into too many cheaters. I think there's only been a couple people I've even suspected. No one I've really been able to say 100%, sure is cheating, or even close to that, which generally means they're probably not cheating.
I played with a pretty hardcore cheater the other day. Yeah, he was playing Torbjorn, so his turret was pretty. It was pretty accurate. No, he wasn't actually cheating.
I played against a lot of hard computers with my 2.5-year-old.
They're surprisingly good.
No, they're terrible, but they have aimbot.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like they can.
It's hilarious. You can't sneak up on them. It's funny. You're like trying to be all sneaky, and they're like come out and they're like staring at you through the wall, and you're just like, man. They have wall hacks and aimbot, but they're stupid.
You just gotta run Junkrat and just throw bombs around every corner, and then they can't come at you. Yeah,
no, it's pretty fun. He can actually fly a bit on Pharah now. He just figured this all out on his own. Just playing. So like he's sort of been branching off. It'll be like he'll master a new button each week. Like for the longest time it's just W. That's all you can press.
Oh, just go forward,
W. Yeah, and then he played it at a little bit of Q in Marvel Heroes. Q's his Iron Man beams.
Oh, nice.
Like zaps everything, right? And I think that kind of branched off because when he was playing Overwatch, all of a sudden now he can press E. He can press E all the time, and shift.
Wait, what does E do on Pharah? Oh, that's the default for her, like the concussive grenade or the pulse grenade, whatever, the knockback. He
doesn't really use that on Pharah, but he figures shift is jump, right? So he's just sort of jumping but not moving. He just press jump and be like, so he'd be like doing big hops. And sometimes he'd shoot at guys when he's in the air too, so it's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then I noticed the other day, I think for some reason on my laptop, the key bindings are set where the boost is on the boost is the mouse too, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she doesn't have a second.
Yeah, so all of a sudden he started pressing that while she's in the air, and he figured out that he can like fly. So and he's been holding W, so like press shift and then start holding W. So he's actually like moving, flying around now.
Oh, nice.
It's ridiculous.
It was funny because the other day, what day is it today? Thursday. Tuesday, I think. I was playing, what was I playing? Feral. That's it. And Ethan actually got really, I gotta edit out his name now. Got really into it, and he was watching me play, and he's like, Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's asking me all those questions, and I'm like, is it about time that I start getting him to try some of these things? Or should I just leave him with the NES Classic over there? I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, I've only got the one computer. So the more he plays, the less I get to play.
No, the more console you get to play.
No, because then my wife is playing on the console. Although
the more NES Classic you get to play.
It's only 2 games on there that I like playing. It's hard, man. It is
video games
so
used
hard.
To be harder.
Seriously,
now there's this whole like checkpoint, die, and recover your health when you don't take damage after X amount of time.
You have to beat the whole level, and it's like, oh, I'm playing Ghosts and Goblins. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Playing Ghosts and Goblins.
That shit is hard, man.
And I'm trying to hit stuff, and I can't jump because the controller doesn't let you push more than 2 buttons at once, and I'm like, this is so strange.
People aren't on nearly as many drugs as they were when they made those games. Like, seriously, why does every old classic Nintendo game look like it came out of a box of Lucky Charms from an acid trip?
Oh god, Lucky Charms are delicious. Well, the marshmallows are delicious. The actual letters are just terrible.
And nobody eats the letters.
Yeah, exactly. You get the marshmallows.
I secretly liked the letters more.
You pick out the marshmallows, and you just have marshmallows in a bowl of milk.
No, see, I was always cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, so I always had chocolate milk. Yeah, everyone else was so jealous.
Wow.
So jelly, my chocolate milk.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm playing Ghosts and Goblins, and I'm starting to get frustrated. And Ethan's watching me. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine. Don't worry. I'm gonna play some Dr. Mario, and you'll see."
The son actually sounds just like that.
You'll see. Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry. I'll play some Dr. Mario, and you'll see. I'll do well."
You just
Instantly,
like running around as a guy in a loincloth throwing lances.
Yeah.
Because you always get hit. You're pretty much running out of the loincloth.
Yeah, pretty much. I lose my armor right away.
Yeah.
That game's so good, though. But it's, again, hard.
Yeah,
Anyways.
no, people don't understand. People think Dark Souls is hard. Go play that Ninja Turtles NES game. That's hard. Oh my God.
Dark Souls is hard, though. Have you ever actually played it?
Yeah, I own Dark Souls 1.
Oh, okay. That is hard.
Yeah,
I tried 3.
Dark Souls 1, and you have the run back in Dark Souls 1. At least that was a little better in Dark Souls 2, apparently. Like, a lot of the sort of just super time waster ones. Aspects to it, they cleaned up a bit. But yeah, Dark Souls 1, admittedly, it was pretty hard. It's pretty hard. The fact that when you died more, it got harder. I guess the old games didn't really do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean...
There were some hard-ass old games.
There are some games, like, that have just evolved, or de-evolved, I should say. Let's take WoW, for example. I'll only stay on this for a moment. I know you don't like talking about WoW. But, like, do you remember when we played and you had, like, 14 buttons? And you had to have everything just in case you needed it, and you had, like, all the action bars and everything, like...
Yeah, three bars of buttons.
Yeah, now it's like 6 buttons on pretty much every class, with a couple of exceptions, and the exceptions are Warlock. They're still relatively complicated if you play Affliction, and maybe a Marksman Hunter. That's pretty much it. Everybody else is like 6 buttons or less. But I remember like playing a Warlock back in vanilla. Like I shared an account with Derek, and every button, or every spell from the spell book was on the action bar. And I don't know if you played back at this
I never played a
level,
Warlock.
but I don't know if it carried over into Outlands or not, when there was multiple ranks of spells, like rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. I don't know if you ever played then. No?
I don't know. It's not sounding familiar.
But sometimes you'd have to have like a rank 1, rank 2, rank 1 through 4 of the same ability on your action bar. So like heal, for example, because you only need a little heal, so you use rank 1. But then you need a big heal, so you use rank 4.
Yeah, no, that was before me. I heard about that, though.
Okay.
That's garbage. Admittedly,
That
changing
was terrible.
from that's
Yeah.
good.
Now it's even more simplified, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting argument because they literally just did the switch a week or 2 ago in Marvel Heroes, where they went from you had an action bar, which was I think 8 buttons, and then 2 like mouse click buttons that could be assigned, and then you had 3 different, like you press 1, 2, 3 to switch the bars,
Oh,
right?
okay.
or whatever. And they just went from that to just 1 action bar, and just
So now
straight
you can
up.
only have 8 buttons plus your 2 mouse buttons.
Yes.
So 10 total.
So, and their reasoning was because I guess in that game it was all about layering damage, and not all the characters needed multiple action bars. Only a couple really needed it. But like say Doctor Strange, just
Still haven't seen
the
that
way they really
No.
oh it's so good, so good. Like
Sorry.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I didn't mean to
level
throw that out there, but okay.
man, I saw the trailer for it and I was like, oh, they're totally gonna rip off Inception for the graphics, the visual effects, and they didn't. It was good. It was only small. It was like basically just that one scene which had the specific visual effects like that, and the rest of the visual effects in the movie were great and very different, and that was my only word about the movie, and yeah, it was awesome.
I should see it.
You should see it.
He's been confirmed for Infinity War.
I should hope so. He's like the main character, arguably, in Infinity War.
So has Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy. What's his face? The big dude. Batista plays him.
Yeah. Drax.
And Groot.
The Destroyer.
Rocket. They didn't say anything about Rocket though. But those ones have been confirmed as well. And again,
Well, they
like
have
I said,
Groot.
Doctor
They'd
Strange.
have to have Rocket, I would think.
Yeah, you'd think. But you'd think they would have just announced
Bradley
that.
Cooper's also maybe the busiest of all those actors too, though. So, back to on Marvel.
Marvel Heroes.
So Doctor Strange, for example, just with the way they did the character, and all the characters are generally pretty different from each other. He has just a whole bunch of different spells, and so basically it's just you're just spamming as many different spells as possible. So basically, the more buttons you're capable of pressing with him, the more damage you'll do with him. And they're like, we don't want it to be like that, at least not to that extent. where just if you're better at using 2 hot bars or 3 hot bars than someone else, like you'll do more damage, which is interesting. I mean, I don't know. I see the arguments for and against it. I guess I guess the idea of the game is that anyone should be able to play Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I don't know. I kind of like the new system. Like, I'm having more fun playing Iron Man on it than I was, although I'd only have to switch really for one ability. And it's kind of simplified it. They made lots of other good changes. They revamped the whole game with this last giant update, so it's good. But it is an interesting, debate on whether or not, how much skill should be involved in determining how much damage or whatever, how effective your character can be in a game.
Yeah. No, it's good. I just thought that it was a little bit much when they squished WoW down, but I guess, you got to appeal to the broader audience.
They need to squish Star Wars Old Republic down. Last time I was there, I was using 3 bars. It'd be like 1 and then Alt to, or 1 to 10, actually 1 to 12 with the plus and minus key. And then Alt 1 to 12 and Control Alt to 12. And then your pet would be Shift Alt Shift 1 to 12.
They got to get that Rust style bar in there. 6 buttons. Yeah,
well,
baby.
That's what Elder Scrolls Online does. That's what they did. You just have 6 abilities. You can change it out. But it's funny because on one hand you're like, oh, I feel so pigeonholed. There's only so many possibilities. But the fact that you can't have a broad covering, a broad jack of all trades style class, because you're build.
It really focuses. It really forces you to focus on one thing.
There's actually a larger variety of different builds that come out. So it's an interesting way to do it.
Wasn't there just a big patch for that, or isn't there a big patch for that coming up here pretty quick? I was reading something about Elder Scrolls Online.
In the summer, which was the last time I played it, they were finishing off a huge, making the world one unified place where you constantly scale to the level of the zone you're in, no matter where you are. So you can do any of the content at any point to make it more like an actual Elder Scrolls game, which I liked. It was a great idea. Maybe that was what they just implemented. I don't know. Personally, I would rather play. I like Elder Scrolls right now more than WoW. I like Star Wars more than WoW because it's WoW but in Star Wars, and it is. I mean, the mechanics are very similar to WoW. The number of buttons are very similar to WoW, but there's Jedis and shit.
It's just funny that WoW has become this great. It's become the comparison. So the old comparison used to be EverQuest.
Yes.
But then with the force that WoW absolutely destroyed EverQuest, obviously WoW became the
I actually liked EverQuest 2 better than WoW.
I never played EverQuest 2. I only played EverQuest 1 and then a couple of the expansions.
It was a little too easy though in the end.
And I remember playing an Ixar monk and just camping in this one stupid castle, waiting for this one guy to spawn to just kill him over and over and over. And that was how I'd spend my Saturday and then how I'd spend my Sunday.
EverQuest was its own very revolutionary, but very much... It's kind of like the Wild West of MMOs.
Oh man, my computer...
Right? You just... So much...
It was so bad.
There was so much... You're doing things by the seat of your pants. Pulling mobs was an art back then.
That's true, actually.
And I mean, you'd have to yell train all the time, and you'd have to be watching chat for the train yells.
Those are amazing.
Because you'd accidentally pull these huge hordes, and then you have to run to zone out so you wouldn't die, and trying to get your body back was crazy. And then eventually, to do the hardest content, you'd either have to be a monk or a Shadow Knight who could feign death, because you'd have to pull a whole bunch, but it would always be too much. There was no way not to. You'd feign death, which was easier for a monk because it was just press a button, you feign death.
Yeah.
I played a Shadow Knight, and you'd have to cast a spell, which had some cast time to it. I mean, granted, you're also tankier, so a bit of a trade-off. But yeah, so you're just you basically pull a lethal amount of mobs to you, cast a spell, pray that you get it off in time, and then just wait because they'd wander away at slightly different times until you had a manageable amount left. Hoped that you weren't in the aggro radius of a couple that you'd waited long enough.
Oh man!
And yeah, that's how you'd have to pull the tougher content. Is crazy.
Those are good times.
But being an enchanter in that game, that was man, they did the crazy crowd control. They were like, if you had an enchanter in your party, you were just, like a good enchanter. You wouldn't have to worry. You'd pull a whole bunch of stuff, and he'd be like, Mez, him, and you'd be fighting one guy at a time. It was great.
I played a bard for a while, but I never realized that you actually had to, like, get different instruments. So I'd use the other spells that were didn't require the other instruments. They were just more effective if you used the other instruments.
They were poo-poo.
But I'd always just run around with a drum. Because I was like, well, I like drum. Drum looks cool. And drum bum. But then I was like trying to... And I didn't know about weaving either. So I just have like one thing going with the wrong... the wrong frigging instrument. And I'm like, why do bards suck so much? And then at the time... I don't remember who I was playing with, but they're like, why aren't you weaving? And I was like, what's weaving? And they're like, oh my god, leave our party. So I left the party, closed down the game, went on the internet, found out what weaving was, started leveling up all my instruments, because you had to level them up all individually. Sounds like somebody
needed to read a, whatchamacallit?
Prima Officially Strategy Guides. Well, yeah, I should have read one of those. And then I was like, this still sucks. I hate weaving. Weaving is terrible. I'm going to make a monk. And then I made a monk, and I started leveling again, and then I was like, you know what? I give up on this game. My computer can barely run it. Don't have money for a new one. I'm done.
Game was so much sitting around because they figured out a lot of things, but they did not figure out downtime and how it's a waste of time. And that I think was the biggest difference that WoW made. They came along and they instantly realized that, hey, people don't like sitting around and staring at the ground for 2 or 3 minutes after they fight someone.
I remember doing that because my computer couldn't handle looking around. Out of combat,
we'll make you regen real fast. And once games started to figure out that, I mean, everyone started to figure that out, right? And reduce travel time. You have lots of effective modes of transportation, right? You know, so yeah, lots of improvements there. But EverQuest, I think, is still the base for the modern MMO.
People still play EverQuest 2, apparently.
Really? I mean, it had better graphics than WoW back then.
It's down to only a couple of servers, but I'm pretty sure it's still going.
It was a little too easy mode, right? Like,
again, I never played 2.
Well, I guess maybe it wasn't. Maybe it just seemed like at the time compared to EverQuest. But, you know, you click a guy all of a sudden and it would tell you, okay, well, he's attached to these 3 guys. So if you pull one, these 3 will come. And things like that.
Told you who was leashed to?
So, yeah.
That's kind of neat, but at the same time, like, kind of bogus.
Yeah, some games still do that. But anyways.
I played Fallout Tactics the other day. And I remember a system similar to that.
I don't even know if I played Fallout Tactics.
Oh, man, that was a good one.
Somebody please gift me Fallout 4 expansions, please.
Fallout 4 expansions. Oh, like
Far Harbor was supposed to be amazing.
Nuka World apparently is quite good too. I've been watching a bit of gameplay.
I know. I just got burnt out because I played too much.
Yeah, I have hundreds of hours.
And then the Far Harbor reviews come out and it's like, fixes absolutely everything that was wrong with the game, even a little bit at all.
Another settlement needs your help.
If you need it, like, you know, I did for the first couple weeks after I broke my collarbone. And,
what? Go on, wipe your ass. You got 2 hands.
I did, but it was hard relearning to wipe your ass with a different hand. I mean...
Oh, man.
I'm sorry I'm not as naturally ambidextrous at hand wiping as some people.
You know that I'm going to title this episode Ambidextrous Ass Wipe, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Oh, my God. I guess I've never broken anything seriously.
I never had either. This is my first broken bone at age 35. Fun times.
I've broken my pinky toe on my left foot like a dozen times. Now I don't even feel anything on it.
You should just cut it off.
What? Why would you jump right to that? You don't feel pain in your toe? Yeah, just cut it off. You don't need it. It's fine. It's just a dead appendage. It still looks nice, okay? I have very lovely toes.
That's true. It's true. He does. I can vouch for this.
That's weird. I was joking, but that's weird.
Hey, what I do when you're sleeping is none of your business.
It's none of my business.
Especially if it involves you.
Oh my god. Oh, that's good stuff. What was I going to say? I just mentioned this to you earlier. I started playing a new game. Oblivion. Yeah, Oblivion.
Oblivion?
Is that the one before Skyrim?
Like
4.
Sheep's Wool? Yes. Oblivion.
What? That's lanolin.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god. Okay, anyways, yeah. So I started playing Oblivion because
I hope you like Hell Portals.
I'm not that far into it.
It's if you're gonna go back and play an older one, go back and play Morrowind. Don't bother
says,
with Oblivion.
Oblivion was $6.
It's not that well, yeah, but how cheap is Morrowind?
I don't know. I didn't.
First off, it's not a huge graphical or engine upgrade. It's a minor one. It is one, but it's not big.
Like Oblivion 2 Oblivion.
Yeah. The jump from the 2.
Then you go to Skyrim and it's like.
Yes. Now Skyrim is amazing. Anyways, Oblivion it's very repetitive. You go in and out of portals to the Hell Realm, and I mean they're procedurally generated, but kind of the same.
You just ruined it for me.
And the story wasn't great. The world was much more interesting in Morrowind, and the engine is almost as good, especially with all the mods that people have come up with. Like Morrowind is generally regarded, I think even in comparison to Skyrim, as certainly for the time the best Elder Scrolls game so far. But a lot of people would still just rate it just period even better than Skyrim, just with the story and just a slightly more interesting world to explore.
If I can't find a way to mod Oblivion's UI and inventory management system, which I've been trying to do, there's no way I'm finishing that game. I cannot.
No, you're not finishing that game. If you're gonna play an old one, you're gonna go back and you're gonna play Morrowind, a real like the best one.
I'll take a
It'd be
look.
like, okay, well, I watched Godfather 3. I'm going to go back and watch Godfather 2. Oh, actually, no. It's a pretty even debate on whether Godfather 1 or 2 is better. That's a bad example.
I haven't seen any of them, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. When I think of a good example, we'll come to it. But no more Oblivion.
Jurassic Park?
Yeah. Yeah. See, well, not as drastic as that. I mean, 1 is so much better than 2 or 3.
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
I would rank them 1, 3, 2.
But it'd be like if you played 4 or watched 4, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch Jurassic Park 2. No. You go back and you watch Jurassic Park 1.
That's true. But anybody who hasn't seen Jurassic Park 1 but has seen number 4 is just a bad person.
Well, yeah, we made sure Eric saw 1 before he went and saw Jurassic World. He hasn't seen 2 or 3, but you don't have to. They're stupid.
We were watching Back to the Future today. That was a blast from the past, which is amazing. Still one of my favorite movies of all time.
I still think of that movie every time I hear that song when he's skateboarding around. Gotta go back in time.
I don't think that's that song, actually.
Oh, at one point when he's skateboarding, right. They do.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I started playing The Division again. So there's the survival
the patch, I told you about that.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I gotta check it out. Obviously, you're not checking it out.
I haven't actually checked out the survival mode yet because I haven't been able to get Rambo to play with me because he was downloading it the other day and then he paused it so they could play whatever game they were playing. And
doesn't your brother play
forgot to finish it. I don't know. I should get him to try it too because I mean we're playing Rust and stuff anyways or Ark, so we're playing the survival games. We might as well play the Division survival since we played the Division.
Yeah, Tom. Get it.
And also the new patch I was just reading that's coming out. It's just going on the PTR. I think it might even be on the PTR already. They're finally expanding the Dark Zone.
Oh, okay.
And
well, I know what that is, but not having played the game, it doesn't mean much to me. But
it's the main PvP area.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing. It was getting kind of super stale just because it's a big area, but it's still just running around in it over and over again. It gets feeling pretty old, so I think it's going to double or triple the size of it or something. So.
One thing that I always thought would be cool if they could pull it off was have the dark, because it's a New York City setting, right?
Like, yeah, Manhattan.
Manhattan, there you go.
Yeah.
Have the Dark Zone change like every few days or once a week with patch time to a different area of the map. So let's just say it's 3 square blocks. So those 3 square blocks change to 3 different square blocks, and it just sort of rotates through like 8 or 9 different areas.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting way to do it. I don't
know.
I don't know if that would make. I don't know if it's possible with the way they've done the lore at this point to retroactively do that and have it make sense. And having a constantly shifting one. I don't know.
The Dark Zone is tied into the lore of the game?
Yeah, with the stuff that happened. Right? Like it's like a more sealed off zone, right? Which is why it's lawless. There's no one in there trying to control stuff, right? So they've like basically blockaded this giant area, and I'm also super excited because The top of the map is very close to Central Park, and they can't expand the Dark Zone down. They can only expand it up. And apparently it was up and over, so I think we'll get to see a bit of Central Park, at the very least, from the Dark Zone, maybe. Or at least it'll go up to the edge of it. So it'll be cool. I don't know why. I just love, half of why I love that game is walking around New York. So
maybe if it goes on sale, I'll pick it up.
It's a good game. It's an excellent game. And speaking of Ubisoft, free
Rainbow Six
Siege weekend, best shooter of the year.
I don't know if I can get past that launcher though. Jedel said it's pretty terrible.
The Uplay?
Like, he said it's literally
Siege you can get through Steam though.
Wait, whoa.
Although I don't know if you'll get it the deal.
It's Uplay?
Yeah.
Oh my god, right there, I'm done. I had to use Uplay when I played Assassin's Creed, and that's why I stopped playing Assassin's Creed. I kid you not.
Well, I've had no problems with it.
Is the reason I stopped playing.
I mean,
I had so many problems with it.
It's garbage. It's significantly inferior to Battle.net, Origin, and Steam. But you can get Siege on Steam.
But it doesn't
know if you get the deal.
That you use the launcher? Well,
No.
It's advertised on Steam as the free weekend 50% off, so I assume you still get the deal.
Yeah, no. You can launch it through the other one. I mean, it uses the Uplay overlay, I believe, in game. But I don't. Yeah, no, because I'm pretty sure I reinstalled mine through Steam. It's just the Division's the only game I've got installed in Uplay right now. So just get it through Steam. You don't have to worry. Jeddel's dumb. It's fine.
Every episode, for the last 4 episodes, at some point, Jeddel gets slammed. Seriously. And I always tell him about this.
I know. I finally saw him the other day. I hadn't seen him since I broke my collarbone.
You went to the hockey game. You said you were coaching. And I was like, how can anybody take
undefeated, baby.
How can
undefeated. You just call me Tom Landry, baby. Or Vince Lombardi.
We were joking
Pretty much Bill Belichick. It's fine.
We were joking about
Patriots by 6. You heard it here first. 34-27. That's actually by 7. My bad.
You are the worst Asian at math by far.
And I'm the 8th best at math for my age in BC. So what does that say about other Asians and how good they are?
Oh yeah, but
I went to the
it's all
math
about the
league
kids now
thing for our team or whatever. This was before that actually. This was earlier because I was 3rd in the city or something. Anyways, go there. 3 of us white people. Go over to Vancouver. Go I think it was at SFU actually, the only time I've been to SFU. Go in there to compete at the provincial thing. And we are the only white people there. I shit you not. Not exaggerating.
You're not
one
even
bit.
white. You're half white. You don't even look white.
That made me, because my 3 team members were white, the 4th whitest person there.
Oh man, that is terrible.
So they are good at math, even in other countries.
And you placed 8th, you said?
Oh no, I came 8th in BC on the grade 12 one.
Oh okay, that's still pretty good. And
it gave me a lot of money at the university that I didn't end up using. So in grade 11, it wasn't grade 12, it was grade 11.
Okay.
Back when I cared.
Yeah, back when I cared, exactly. So on that note, we gotta wrap it up.
I can almost subtract 27 from 34.
Oh God, can you? Anyways, I know nothing about the Super Bowl. I don't really care about the Super Bowl. Everybody keeps telling me I should watch the Super Bowl.
Patriots will cover.
All I want to do is watch the commercials, and I can watch those online afterwards.
Have you heard, all of the big companies got, mega stars to be in their commercial this year?
Have you not seen the Melissa McCarthy one?
Announcements, yeah. It's like, oh, Lady Gaga, I'm in a Super Bowl commercial, and this other person, I'm in a Super Bowl commercial. It's the big thing this year.
Once we're done recording, look up the Melissa McCarthy one.
I'm looking at it right now.
Your wife actually posted it to Facebook, and it's really good. Anyways, we got to wrap it up here because we're pushing 45 minutes. So, we're not sure.
They want to hear my reaction.
No, it's like a 3-minute video. We got to wrap it up.
I'll make my reaction really quick. It'll be my initial impression. Don't want to hear it.
Okay, go. You got to hurry up, though.
KIA Super Bowl commercial. What is
Kia? KIA. It's a Kia. It's a car company.
It was all capitalized. It's not my fault.
That's how the brand writes itself. Or that's how their logo is.
Touché.
You don't even have any sound. You need the sound. We're going to get...
Wait, no, we'll get sued if I turn the sound on.
But without the sound, it's not nearly as good.
Melissa McCarthy's always good. Have you seen Spy?
Yes,
that was the
Watch, you're
under the
it.
radar. Oh my god! Okay, that was awesome. Save the trees. Wait, Why are they airing them before the Super Bowl?
I don't really know, but
she just got hit by a whale, bitch.
Oh, don't worry. It gets better.
Oh, it gets better? Okay, well, we don't need...
Yeah, we're not going to watch it.
That was already good.
Anyways, okay, we got to wrap it up. We're not sure if we're going to keep these on iTunes or not. We're going to do a bit of research, see if people are actually listening to them. Otherwise, they will still be put up on YouTube. So, if you're listening to this, obviously you've checked it out.
Go back. Stay tuned for our up-and-coming Overwatch specific podcast entitled...
we didn't get really into the name.
I thought you had a name.
Well, I said
a name.
Watch Over Us, but then I thought that's kind of like lame.
What?
I don't know. We'll work on that one.
What?
Anyways.
He needs more confidence. We'll work on his confidence too.
Shut up. Okay, anyways, thanks for listening. Did you have another movie tagline that you wanted to go out on? Really? Nothing? Normally you're just like right there with the movie quips.
Well, I thought I had a good Talladega Nights one, but I just couldn't decide.
Well, okay. If you ain't first...
Shake.
And bake.
Oh,
I like the other one better, though. If you ain't first, you're last. Although...
That doesn't even make any sense. You can be second, you can be third.
El Diablo is pretty good, too. What's that, like some kind of Mexican chicken?
Yeah. The Magic Man and El Diablo signing off.
Okay.